Your social media strategy is running on platforms that are cannibalizing themselves. There are features affecting your campaigns that you didn't consent to, that you weren't told about, and that you are absolutely paying for. And the reason that you haven't caught it yet is because it doesn't show up in any of your reporting. It just shows up as numbers that don't quite add up. Most brands won't notice until it's too late to do much about it. This video is for the ones who want to see what's coming. Before I show you exactly what's happening and where, let's be clear about what's actually at stake. Because this isn't just another creator drama story that will make a little noise and then fade away. This is about a fundamental, dangerous shift that can put your entire social media strategy at risk. Affiliate and influencer programs drive a significant amount of revenue for most e-commerce brands. In fact, nearly 2/3 of retailers reported that up to 20% of their revenue was driven by affiliates. For most brands, this is a serious revenue driver. The creator economy is now a $37 billion ad market in the US, growing 4 times faster than traditional media. Every dollar of that runs on one thing: the trust that creators build with their audience over years, and the commitment of creators to generate free content for people to consume. That is the asset that you are accessing when you are entering into a partnership deal. And right now, the platforms are quietly changing the terms of that structure, and they're not telling anyone. I'm genuinely surprised that this isn't a bigger story. This isn't just something coming down the pipeline one day. This is live. This is happening now. It's hitting creators and brands, and it's happening across 3 different platforms at the same time. The first offender is Reddit, who is testing out shoppable AI-generated carousels directly within subreddit threads. These are triggered by high-intent shopping-related queries: best running shoes, best noise-canceling headphones. We all know that many people go to Reddit for product recommendations, so this is feeding off of that. Reddit users are taking the time to share their honest, thorough, thoughtful reviews, and Reddit is capitalizing on those reviews without sharing any piece of that pie. Reddit's ad revenue grew 70% year over year, so they are strongly motivated to continue to grow that revenue stream. And this, for them, is a natural extension. But does it actually detract from and disincentivize people who are loyal, committed Reddit users to want to share when their time and effort is just going to become another vehicle for Reddit to make money? And what happens is those are your hard-earned reviews that are now going to have shoppable carousels with your competitors that you don't have any control of. Not great for the people creating the content, and not great for the brands that have worked so hard to create those relationships that get people excited to go online and share about their positive experiences. Now, Reddit is doing it within subreddit posts, and that's one thing. What's happening on creator posts on 2 other platforms is more troubling and something else entirely. Instagram recently quietly launched Shop the Look. Essentially, AI computer vision scans creator posts and automatically surfaces products it judges to be visually similar. So a creator wears something in a post, Instagram's AI reads the image and provides a shoppable link to buy a product that appears to be similar. However, those links are leading to a product that the creator has never seen, has never used, never tried, never endorsed, often knockoffs, often random marketplace sellers that are capitalizing on dupe culture. And on top of that, the overlay does not appear in creators' dashboards, which means that they are not even getting a percentage of the sale that their post is being used to sell a product that they've never even tried. So there are multiple layers here of problem that we're going to dig into. And first, I want to share a story of a creator that had such an experience to really illustrate how problematic this is. Also, I was at dinner with a couple of creator friends recently, and when I asked them about this, neither even knew that it existed, even though it is appearing on their own posts. So there's a fashion creator, Julia, I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, and over 10 years, she had built a really faithful community of 1.3 million followers who turned to her for her genuine recommendations. And then recently, she started getting messages from followers asking her about products that were showing up on her posts, products she had never heard of. So when she looked into it, she found out that Instagram had been quietly running the shop the look button on her reels without her knowledge. Her followers were being directed to, her words, cheap knockoffs and random items from brands she'd never heard of. Attached to her image, under her name, she earned nothing. She had no idea. This isn't just Julia's story. This is also your story. After Julia wrote about what happened, brand founders started reaching out to her. People who had spent years creating original products and spending real money on creator partnerships. And they told her that the same thing was happening to their content. Their posts, campaigns they had paid for, partnerships they'd invested in were being used by Instagram's AI to surface knockoffs of their own products. Her words, every post they publish has become a billboard for their copies. You paid to develop the product. You paid a creator to feature it. You may be paying to run ads on that piece of content. And Instagram's AI is routing your customers to a cheaper imitator using your content and your budget to do it. Nobody consented, nobody got paid. The platform quietly collected the revenue. So as I was planning this video, I was going to position TikTok as the one who got it right. And then that same dinner that I mentioned where I was speaking with my creator friends triggered a message the next morning telling me that TikTok was doing the same thing. TikTok Shop is an opt-in affiliate model that a lot of brands have gained great success with. In that model, the creator chooses the product, makes a piece of content, and earns a commission for any sales generated. This is the most creator-aligned content model of the three platforms that we're talking about today. This part they got right, which is why also in breaking news this week, Instagram recently announced that they are finally coming out with their own version, but that is a subject for another video. If you want to know about Instagram and Facebook's answer to TikTok Shop, then let me know in the comments below and I'd be happy to make a video about that. But TikTok is being a little sneaky because they are also running a separate layer called Identify Similar Product. In this, the AI scans the creator's video and then directs the viewer to similarly identified products in TikTok Shop. Products the creators have no relationship with and earn nothing from. So they made a video thinking that they'll earn a percentage of sales. Now that video is being used to promote competitors and that creator gets nothing. Now, unlike Instagram and Reddit, you can opt out, but this is turned on by default and most creators have no idea this exists. So TikTok is being really sneaky because they are simultaneously creating this amazing program that gets creators incentivized and in the door wanting to make content, but then they have this extraction layer on top of it that is quietly eating away from that creator's earnings. TikTok at least gives you the switch. Instagram, at least right now, does not. So there are three platforms, three versions of a similar pattern going on. There are these early features that attract creators. Creators build businesses around this. And now the AI has created this extraction layer that only benefits the platforms and severely penalizes the brands and creators. The platforms did not build that trust. The creators did over years, post after post after post. So if the creators built the audience, built the platform, why are the platforms the ones that are collecting the revenue? And because this is just the beginning, what happens as this really takes hold? So there are three different layers of why this is so problematic. The first layer is that you as a brand have invested in creating content, creating partnerships to drive sales. And now you are sending sales to your competitors, ones that are potentially even infringing on your IP. You found the right creator, which takes time and effort and resources. Then you invest in the brief, the product, the partnership, the ad spend around it. Your customer sees the post, is curious about buying, and then the AI intercepts that intent and sends it to your competitor. You paid for the attention, the platform monetized it, and you got nothing. Now, the second problematic layer is that this does brand positioning damage. Your brand, maybe it appears in a premium context. There's the trusted creator, the curated aesthetic, earned attention, and then Instagram surfaces a $12 lookalike. The customer now has a price anchor, and now your $85 item appears to be absurdly overpriced, which is a real problem when it compounds with the fact that 85% of brands report AI accelerated threats, including fake listings, and 82% say counterfeiting is worse than 2 years ago. So we all know that there are a lot of black hat actors out there that love to take advantage of opportunities like this, and this creates a ripe opportunity for those that are leaning into knockoff territory to be able to snatch up the price sensitive buyer. Now, the third layer is the IP exposure, because if the knockoff Instagram surfaced infringes your trademark and the platform used your creator's content and your ad spend to put it in front of your customer, that's your intellectual property being used against you by a platform that you are paying. There are real concerns here that Instagram's Shop the Look could be creating some pretty serious IP infringement issues down the road, and this could potentially attract legal enforcement. So that is perhaps one potential bright spot, but at what cost? All of these layers are happening quietly right now. Shop the Look is just in beta testing mode. We've only begun to see the tip of what's possible and what may happen as this moves out of beta and has wider distribution. And that's before you factor in what happens when creators start to truly figure out what's going on, because that chain reaction can have sweeping consequences. Now, what happens next in the ecosystem is what actually determines who wins. Now, when I started planning this video, I couldn't escape the idea of Frankenstein, because platforms created this space where creators could garner attention, build their communities, develop businesses, gain so many different opportunities. And then the platform slowly starts to morph and becomes a monster that then has the potential to destroy everything that was built. So what happens if platforms allow for this to continue and creators start to catch on about what's happening and there's no way of turning it off? So as creators start to figure out that these platforms are monetizing their audience without their consent, negatively influencing these brand partnerships and collaborations that they've invested so much time and effort and resources into cultivating, and maybe they're not generating the expected promised return that they're used to. So that can start to create some fractures within the partnerships themselves, while simultaneously eroding the trust, which is the single most important asset that these creators have on the platform. So then, where is the incentive to create high quality content? Why invest hours building something that the platform is just going to monetize off your hard work? Well, some of this is already happening. Creators are already beginning to migrate to closed subscription-based communities where they maintain control, where they're not at risk also of having their accounts are also not beholden by the platforms. Now, these spaces can be great for creators. They own them. They have so much more freedom and control, but these are closed spaces. They are not happening out in public. They have less visibility and access. And from there, it's quite possible that truly organic quality recommendations are harder to come by because we've all just been so overtaken by so much AI garbage disguised as real reviews when in fact it's all just manipulation. And so simultaneously, the creators don't want to create and the viewers don't want to view. At this point, brands are probably scrambling pretty hard. You're trying to fill the gap with more ads with your own AI generated content. The performance treadmill gets faster and more expensive, and the channel that was doing so much of the heavy lifting essentially starts to disappear. This isn't just hypothetical. Creators are already moving. Dark social is growing. Content shared in chats, DMs, saved collections, highest trust, zero brand visibility. In other words, people are turning to their immediate circles, not even going to the influencers to get those recommendations in spaces that brands have no oversight, influence on, or control of. Most brands are running their content strategy on the assumption that creators will keep showing up and that viewers will continue to tune in. The platforms are now putting a big question mark on that with your budget without asking. When platform trust breaks, the audience doesn't disappear. It reorganizes, it gets more selective, it goes underground. The attention moves, and it moves somewhere that you have less access to. This includes private communities like Discord servers, paid Substacks, close friend stories. These are becoming the new trust layer. Smaller, higher signal, but much harder to buy into. According to one study, 63% of Gen Z trust creators who openly critique products, and only 22% trust traditional influencers. In other words, for them, they can see through a lot of the manipulation and they're not into it. Long form content outperforms short term when it comes to trust. And word of mouth and group chats is the most powerful and least visible form of discovery. Brands have virtually zero access to this. The brands that can survive this next phase of social commerce aren't the ones with the biggest Instagram budget. They're the ones with genuine creator relationships. They're investing in those relationships so that as creators move their most engaged audiences to private spaces, you're able to join them there. So what do the brands making the right moves actually look like? Most brands will either panic or hope that somehow this misses them and just continue on with exactly what they're doing. This approach is not effective. You can't ignore the reality of what's happening. Change is occurring whether you accept it and lean into it or put up your blinders and pretend like it's not happening. The brands that start making the right moves now are going to have a structural advantage so that as this develops more, they're going to be ahead and their competitors won't understand why they're winning. So, what should you do? First, figure out what percentage of your revenue is creator generated. If that channel contracted tomorrow, what would it cost you? The next thing you should do is register on Meta's brand right protections tool now. Currently, you still have to monitor and submit takedowns manually, but without that, you have zero formal protection at all. Start building relationships. Probably the single most important thing that you must do. The top takeaway from this video is to stop treating creators as a line item on your P&L. They are so much more than a row on your spreadsheet. The more that you can develop out those relationships, the better positioned you'll be to follow them into those private spaces, be it Substack or Discord, and the more that you will be able to maintain that flexibility to go where the creators go. And alongside all of this, you can take some of the power back into your own hands by building out your own channels, your emails, your texts, your communities. Every customer that you can reach without having to pass through one of these platforms is going to give your business more structural safety. The most expensive assumption that's happening in e-commerce right now is that the relationship between you and your customer on social media is owned by you. Right now, it belongs to the platforms. Everyone's doubling down on AI right now, but data says that's exactly the wrong move. There's something else that's far more powerful, and most brands are sleeping on it. Find out what that is and how you can use this to your advantage to grow your business by clicking on the video that should be showing up right here. Go ahead, click on it. I better see you over there. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Bye.